answering at a different office, but someone just came in here yelling.
315. Okay, do you know where they're at in the building?
In the front of the building, there's our main entrance. Shut the door.
Moore 911, where's your emergency?
Vaughn Foods, Moore, Oklahoma, 216 Northeast 12th Street.
What's going on there?
We have someone attacking someone in the building. I was just informed. I'm in the...
Okay, where are they at?
Inside. Are they in the office? They're in the office. Front office of the building.
Okay, do you know where he is at in the plant?
We know that he's loose. He has stabbed someone.
Yeah, we've got medical en route to them.
Okay.
Is anybody with him, or do you know? Respond on lacerations. Bond 216. Go ahead, sir. 216 Northeast 12.
I'm going to put you on speakerphone 1 second, okay?
Stand by on a map page. 1608, timeout.
Okay, so we don't know where the person went. He went through our front office, went to the shipping office, stabbed a woman in our customer service department.
Okay, did he know her? Do you know, is that who he was arguing with? Is she an employee?
She is an employee, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Lock that door.
Yeah, go ahead and lock everybody in there if you can.
Yeah, we're trying. Okay. Can you hear this in the background?
Is that him? He's back?
Yeah, it sounds like he's running around out here.
Okay.
And that's a gunshot.
Got gunshot.
Sure.
Units responding to Bond Foods. We do now have gunshots. Okay, do you know where he's at now?
He's in the hallway outside of the center of the building.
He's in the hallway in the center of the building. How many more shots have you heard?
We heard 3.
You heard 3 shots?
Now I'm hearing somebody yell in the hallway. Stay down.
There's another subject yelling in the hallway. Units be advised that there's another subject yelling in the hallway. Still standing by on injury.
Stay down. Stay down.
Boston Red here with Jerry Pippin. This is a story that comes across the wire, so to speak, that is very disconcerting. It is a story of a tragedy in a city that had another tragedy, the tornado that beset it. The President Barack Obama was there in a city in a very red state of Oklahoma that did not vote for him. But this time around, one of the victims, Colleen Huffer, was also a victim of the tornado. She ended up being a victim here of a religious fanatic, evidently, and fanaticism goes on because what happens there is, especially a convert, as this person evidently was in the process of being on Eric Huffer's true believer type, dealing with a process that is utterly irrational from the very beginning. We came in with the 911 recording from the Vaughn warehouse. We mispronounced his name, I think Bonham. But anyway, the Vaughn food warehouse there in Moore, Oklahoma. Vaughn himself became a hero. He was an auxiliary county deputy there in Oklahoma County and had special tactical training. It's to be noted that he confronted Mr. Antone there, and he was able to shoot him, and that was basically the end of the story. Mr. Nolan. Statement here from the mosque there in Oklahoma City. That is the Islamic Society of Greater Oklahoma City. And this is from Sadak Muhammad. Said he once sat only feet away from the accused killer. The only time I ever said anything to him was one time he was in the mosque and he had his Quran and prayer rug on the floor, and I said, hey, pick it up because I don't want the Quran on the floor. And he picked it up and sat down, and that was it, according to Mr. Muhammad. Other members described Nolan as awed, quiet, distant. They said he never spoke to anyone. You could tell he was different from everyone else, Muhammad said. But as far as violent, we never saw it coming. The congregation was rocked. This was attacked on Thursday, As Muslims, we are against it. Muhammad said, we are anti-violence and we are anti-brutality. What he did was his own choice. Now that I would disagree with. This was an individual who made a decision, and that decision was his own, and as Muslims we are against it, and we condemn it wholeheartedly. Well, obviously he would condemn that, but was that a choice? Nolan, this dispatch here, woke up in a hospital. The police are questioning Mr. Nolan about the incident, which they would happen. We'll incidentally join Jerry here momentarily, then we'll go to a news conference by the Moore Police Department. Let me get a little bit more background here from this. This is from KOCO TV out of Oklahoma City. So we covered the 911 recording. We had Jerry's commentary on it. And we'll get a statement here from the Oklahoma City or Oklahoma County people on the events. I thought we would on the events there that occupied this particular situation in Oklahoma City. Well, here we are right here. This is Wheeler. He is the sheriff of Oklahoma County, and you'll see a picture on of it there. The Oklahoma County Sheriff John Wessell, I said Wheeler Wessell, released a statement about Vaughn. Vaughn had been a reserve officer since June of 2010, according to Winslow. Winslow said he was a very highly trained member of a tactical team and a member of the Fast Action Support, the team they call it, I guess a SWAT team evidently. To me, this is from the sheriff. Today my thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends of the innocent victim who was murdered and the second innocent victim who was injured in a violent knife attack at the Vaughn Food in Moore, Oklahoma on the 25th of September. These were horrendous criminal acts that ended by a quick response from Oklahoma County Reserve Deputy Sheriff Mark Vaughn. I'm extremely proud of the action of Deputy Vaughn, and I am convinced those actions saved the lives of several other employees. Mr. Vaughn, who served as CEO of Vaughn Foods, was at work, and when he was alerted that a man was attacking an employee with a knife, he didn't hesitate. He quickly responded, and I saw another one where he picked up a rifle or what have you, and there he put an end to the threat by shooting the victim and saving the lives of a second victim who was being actively attacked by the suspect. There is every reason to believe that the lives of untold others were saved who would have been targeted by the suspect if it had not been for Deputy Vaughn's action. Mark Vaughn has been with the Oklahoma Sheriff's Office since 2010. During that time, he completed 10 hours of reserve deputy basic academy, and as well as of extensive law enforcement training. Reserve officers serve as deputies as an important role in the ability of the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office to provide law enforcement services and protect the citizens of the county. Mark Vaughn is an example of just how significant these men and women are to our citizens' lives that were saved, and a criminal threat ended by quick and unselfish response of Mr. Vaughn. Only one word can express my feelings of the action of Reserve Deputy Vaughn. Without regard to himself or his safety yesterday, Vaughn became a hero, doing the job that he was sworn to do in protecting others. That is Mr. Vaughn there, and what he was able to do. And I was looking at some of the statements here from various people on Facebook. And this is from someone on Facebook. The war on terrorism has launched on the U.S. Saw radical Islam extremists who have dealt their deft hands by beheading one woman, attempting to murder another. All hands of these low-life scumbag recruits recently converted to Islam, so-called religion of peace. A time for all of us to take up arms. Well, this person is indeed as kooky. But it's sort of the tenor of the moment that you see more and more of these acts. Another one much more sensible here. I found, let's see if I can find it again, where one individual was talking about, we don't want to go to the Crusades. Usually when you find something, here we go. Here's clever for you. Perhaps we wouldn't have these issues if the United States and Great Britain had not supported a coup in Iran. That was in 1953 against the then installed Prime Minister there, against a secular democracy. Now this is a democratically elected leader Mossadegh, who did not kiss our nation's rear and then reinstated the Shah. And if the Soviet Union had stayed out of Afghanistan, a nation that was at least somewhat modern, pro-invasion during the 80s. Note, I'm not a liberal, and that it matters. I'm a student of history, according to this person. Name is Shah. Well, he's correct in the sense that they are the ones, the U.S., Britain, and their allies that spawned this particular situation. They took on not only replacement of Premier Mossadegh with the reactionary Shah of Iran, and that was for the oil that was there and nothing else. The backing of the brutal Saudi regime there that does beheading. Now, we did a story also on bestiality in Oklahoma. That was their execution of a man that literally died of a heart attack. Now, it can be argued and argued very forcefully, the execution by Old Smoky, by this, it was chemical drugs that didn't work, is the same as beheading. The only difference is the Saudis do it in open air. This person, I assume, did it in a room. But that type of life-taking goes back many, many thousands of years. So we will likely see more beheadings. We'll also see more drug-induced killings in Oklahoma, especially in Texas Perry, Texas, with his rock. That is part of the culture. And we have argued here many times that when you inject this type of violence, and it's been noted that this so-called Islamic State, Dennis Kucinich penned that, as I was telling Jerry, and you'll hear that later here, that they managed to capture some oil fields. And it's about retaking that oil. It's not about the Islamic State. You can't separate these characters. The Saudis are just as extreme, although they are in the business of oil and also in the business now of solar power. But they are a very reactionary regime that uses the same tactics, suppress women and other minorities within their country. And when the U.S. supports those kind of regimes and at the same time forcibly boycott, bomb, and any other tactics they have against a democratically elected government in Syria under Bashar al-Assad. But when you see these kinds of things happening in the history, you will see more of these kinds of acts. And from reading some of the posts by one of the relatives of the gentleman here, it is apparent that a lot of religious fanatics in that particular family, Nolan, he had JC on his chest, and Assalamu Alaikum also were there. But it seems the family are evangelical Christian types, nonetheless fanatics. One fanatic does not cancel out another fanatic. You have this fanaticism, but the fanaticism goes beyond that. As you heard from one of the Facebook comments there, in a very red and reactionary state such as Oklahoma, you will have that, Gossapler we call it, this religious fanaticism goes into